What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I had the immense pleasure of riding my good buddy here Tom's Ducati V4S around a track day at Pocono South. The day was being put on by Riders Academy run by my good friend Manny. I was also doing some coaching for him throughout the day, so I did have the coach jersey on as well while I went out on this bike. It was my first proper Panigale V4 experience, and I have to say I was not let down by it whatsoever. The bikes are quite unreasonably fast. There are a few areas I struggled with that we'll touch on once we get out on track. Now, normally when I'm making these videos, I'll take footage from a couple different sessions and kind of string it together. All in all, I only got about 12 minutes of riding on this bike, so not the most, and I kind of want to keep it all condensed and kind of just show you honestly what it's like to ride a brand new bike for me for the first time. So, no experience with this bike prior. It is on a set of fresh Pirelli slicks, which was always a nice piece of assurance. This was also my first day riding at this track, so also was riding a Ninja 400 before getting on this, so it was quite a drastic change, but I got comfortable pretty quickly. The only areas that I personally had some issues with was just getting the bike stopped and the initial turn-in. I just never felt like the bike was fully getting on the front tire. I don't think there was that much suspension travel, almost, not necessarily travel, but just like it was set up a little bit too stiff for me. And when I was getting on the brakes, I wasn't getting the bike down on the front end enough to really utilize that front grip to get the bike to turn. But you're going to see I'm short shifting this bike a lot. It's just such a powerful motorcycle on such a tiny little track like Pocono is, especially with the bumps. The thing just wants to rip the bars out of your hands just about constantly. It gets a little bit hairy at some spots, but for the most part, the thing is just an absolute rocket ship, and it puts the biggest smile on my face. I'm just watching this back even. Unfortunately, that bug splat there on the center of the screen did come along and kind of hurt the footage a little bit, but it is what it is, not the end of the world by any means. On this bike, it is not a stock V4S. It is a fully track-prepped bike. There is internal suspension work done front and rear, race body work. It is the stock tank off the V4S. It just has an extender on it that makes it appear to be the aluminum tank from the R. Past that, it's got the full spark exhaust, all the appropriate tuning to go along with that exhaust, and it's honestly a kind of a perfect track day setup for a V4. Didn't leave me wanting in any departments other than what I previously mentioned of maybe trying a little bit of softer spring rate on the front end to really get down in that suspension stroke, and you're going to hear firsthand here in a moment exactly how I felt about riding this motorcycle.
That thing's fucking sick! Holy fuck!
Are you having fun?
Holy fuck, that's a fast motorcycle, dude. I get it, they feel good. Definitely a little sluggish.
What's up, Jeff?
Woo!
Well, Ben's getting excited.
So rolling back out, this is now the intermediate group session, so when I do come around back to that front semi-straight there, the rest of the group is still pitting out. Remember, I do have a coaching jersey on, so they sent him out in front of me on purpose, knowing that I was going to do the right thing when I came up on him. Trust me, totally safe, totally knew it was going to happen. Past that, just you can kind of see right back out just getting those couple moments rest there and kind of processing what I experienced on the first couple laps, just kind of implementing the feelings and how I think I have to ride the bike differently, and of course just being more comfortable with trying to pull the bike over on the side of the tire a little bit harder. Getting higher up in the revs, this back straight right here is so bumpy, it's almost impossible to keep the front wheel of the bike down. Going in very deep this time here, kind of pushing the bike a little bit, seeing okay how far and how deep can I go on the brakes, but still just a massive smile on my face and enjoying every moment of riding this bike. I cannot thank Tom enough for letting me take his bike out, and all the work that was done on this thing was done by the guys at Ducati New York City. Also happens to be where I'm working currently, so if you're in New York and need a Ducati, other brands as well, come on by. This is the moment I was talking about here. I have a coach vest on. They saw me coming. It's all good. So just keep on putting around. There's a few other things that could be going into first gear in some of these corners without a doubt, but the voice in the back of my head kicks in where it's at, hey, it's not your bike. It's got 200 horsepower. Let's just play it on this, err on the side of caution on this one. So it's definitely trying to be wary of that. Definitely don't want to have to be purchasing a V4S anytime soon. So keeping a cool ride going. On this banking, the tar snakes that go around it kind of sketch me out a little bit. I mean, you're going through there at 130 miles an hour on the side of the tire, and that's why you saw me kind of hesitating a little bit through those sections. Just didn't want to make anything happen in a very dangerous part of the racetrack. So just getting to spend a few more laps here before I decide to throw the hand up and call it. So I'll leave you to it for the last few laps and then come back and give some final thoughts. coming into the last lap or two that I did on this bike, just having trouble getting stopped for some corners. Started getting a little bit too comfortable in my own head, so I was like, let me park this thing, put it away in one piece. But I think you could see throughout the footage there were a couple moments where I just was wide on corners, and not just a little bit wide, but several yards off of the apexes, I would say. Again, I don't think it's anything wrong with the motorcycle. I think it's just a difference in the way that it's set up from how I would set it up for myself versus how Tom likes his bike to be and how he rides. I think if I was harder on the brakes, I could have gotten the bike more into the realm of where it wanted to be. Excuses all day, just not trying to wreck someone else's bike. But I would love to ride one of these with some slightly softer springs in it on a proper full-size track. This one is pretty tight, still a blast, but definitely not, NJMP or pit race or anything of that nature. So I'll definitely look forward to one of those opportunities. But overall, I've ridden every leader bike there is to ride, race track preps, stock street bikes, and I am still blown away by just how much faster this Ducati V4S was. It was completely mind-numbing. So again, massive thank you to Tom, and thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you soon.